guys, welcome back. It's been a really long
Long time
time.
for Rebels, yeah.
It's been since the spring of 2016. That was a little while ago.
Yeah.
But welcome back to the Rebels recap show. We are in season 4. They released episodes 1 and 2. Both had 2 parts. We had 4 episodes. We both did not really like the first episode on Mandalore. I thought personally it was really boring. It was tedious and it kind of dragged on. Lucas has other choice words for that, so we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the second one was In the Name of the Rebellion, I believe.
Yes, In the Name of the Rebellion, Part 1 and Part 2.
Right, and we kind of saw which was this episode. I think we can just go over overall what we thought about it. I really liked the Kyber crystal and how they're showing.
Hold on. Let's go through.
Oh, okay.
What the episode is
rewind.
about.
But anyways, they're finally getting to Yavin 4.
Yes.
Which we know they are at on episode 4. So we're starting to get to the end here.
Yeah, it's getting really fun. Yavin looks great. They really did a good job. So Hera is already on Yavin 4, and so is Rex. They pick up Sabine from the Mandalore arcs. They get done with Mandalore. She comes back with the Ghost group, which was really nice to see because I didn't know whether or not she was going to stay in Mandalore. Chopper, Kanan, Ezra, and Zeb's at Yavin 4 as well.
He was
so it's Sabine, Chopper, Ezra, and Kanan all coming back, all going to Yavin 4. And I thought the comedy was a little bit fun because now it seems like I can understand Chopper a lot better.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of tell what he's saying by the way he says it. Kind of like what R2 does.
Yeah.
A lot. But I love the little humor and the backs and forths between Kanan and Ezra and everything. It was kind of cool to see. Well, they get there. Zeb starts talking to him about, there's these little bits of little cells that we've all come together to form this rebellion, and they go through it, and then all of a sudden Hera's coming down with a Y-wing.
Right, yeah. So
they
they were I can't remember exactly what their mission was, but they were trying to do.
They were doing a supply run, I believe.
Yeah, they were doing a supply run. Got ran out by the Empire. What was kind of interesting is you get to that part and there's this scene. It's right kind of after that. It's more of nighttime. And it's just Kanan and Ezra just kind of talking, and it's kind of ironic because Ezra's talking like, we need to do more, like, all these little things that Mon Mothma wants us to do. It's not really doing anything. And then all of a sudden, you just get this message, live message from Saw Gerrera. And as we know in Rogue One, like, they don't like to associate themselves. And I think it starts at this point.
I think so too, yeah. Well, it also, if you read Princess Leia, Princess of Alderaan, in that, and in Rebel Rising, Saw has been known to target civilians or have civilian casualties and not care.
Right, because and to his credit, I mean, yes, he's actually doing a good cause, but he endangers people.
Yeah, unnecessarily. Another thing is that when the whole group gets together, they go to the place where in A New Hope they are all gathered, where the Death Star, when they have the tracking, they're in the table pretty much, and they go on and talk about how they need to. Well, Ezra starts talking about, hey, we need to save Lothal. That's what we're here for.
Right.
But then Mon Mothma has a conversation with him saying, we can save Lothal, but what about all these thousands of star systems that are still under the oppression of the Empire? She even said Chandrila, which is her home planet, which is also under. She wants to help her planet and she wants to help Ezra's planet, but she's making a bigger sacrifice for the whole galaxy when they aren't going towards Lothal and Chandrila, which also brings up a good point about why they didn't go to Kashyyyk right away.
Right.
because Kashyyyk was very much heavily. I think there was a couple fleets around Kashyyyk because it was so important to the Death Star creation, as well because of the Wookiees. So it kind of gives you a perspective of, hey, sometimes you have to sacrifice sacrifice a little bit to gain ground against the Empire. We can't play the same games as the Empire. And that's where the hologram comes in, and he goes, and Saw Gerrera comes in and goes, are you going to run errands for Mon Mothma, or are you actually going to become a rebellion? And it's two sides of the same coin. You can see the point of Saw Gerrera saying, hey, let's take it to them like they're taking it to us.
Right.
But Mon Mothma's point also is very relevant and very, very true, because you can play by their rules, but that just makes you the Empire.
Right. Yeah, and also in Ezra, I'm starting to see a little bit of the frustration. I'm starting to see, like, the resentment, and I think this is what I think. I think two things are going to happen. He's either going to quit, or he's going to literally turn to the dark side. And I could see both of those happening, because I just think ever since the end of Season 2, there was always, that weird thing. He had kind of that weird look, and I just think, losing his parents, it's kind of like almost an Anakin feel, like he's destined to be a dark. I could see him being like some kind of almost like who's Mara Jade.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like that kind of character, like the Emperor's kind of right hand man, kind of like under Vader, but not really technically an apprentice, just has some Force abilities. So I could see that, because there's obviously a big frustration there, and there's a really big there's something going on underneath, and we saw that because he followed Saw with just like not even consulting anybody, just kind of just like bringing Sabine in too. Like they could have gone home and
they speaking of which, they go to what planet is it? They are on. They go to... Okay, so they're from Yavin 4. Where are they at? I can't even remember.
I can't remember. They go to this planet, and something happens. They were at... It was a station. It was a big station that had a huge satellite.
Oh, yeah. They went to the satellite planet.
Went to...
Yep. And they were trying to take over that satellite.
Yeah, they didn't want to blow it up, but so what happens is, obviously in the true Sabine and Ezra way, I can't even remember his name. They totally screwed it up.
Oh yeah, well, I thought it was funny. I thought the comedy side of it came in pretty well. With Ezra trying to imitate the commander that he was actually on the other side of the comm with, and he goes, "I'm Commander Benatos or whatever."
Yeah, it's
who is this? And it was so funny because he saw him. The dish moves and it goes back down, and Sabine and Ezra are falling, and he catches himself, sits up, puts up his scout trooper mask, and he goes, that boy, because he ruined in season 3. He ruined the station that he was on, and in season 2, he ruined the gravity well that he was on too. So it was really, really funny to see that.
He's screwed with him so many times. It's just really funny.
So they're trying to take out the satellite when... well, they're not trying to take it out. They're trying to reprogram it for the rebellion so that they can catch on to what the Empire's moves are going to be. Just like how the Empire was able to catch the rebellion in their moves.
Right. So then we have we have that whole scene, and then it looks pretty bad for them at one point where they're in order to get, they have clone troopers that literally come out of the satellite, like
stormtroopers.
Or stormtroopers. They come out, and you obviously have the Star Destroyer right above them as well. And it looks really bad, so they start having Chopper just move the satellite. So you have people just like falling and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden there's just this huge explosion. Or well, no, it's actually
Saw shows up in that sweet looking U-wing. Are you kidding?
It's really cool, and he gets like, oh yeah, here,
here's some bombs.
Here's some
explosives.
bombs. So he's like, and you might want to leave because they're like
they're on top of the satellite.
They're about to detonate. So he gives them like detonated
Yeah.
bombs basically.
It's pretty funny.
It's basically like, hey, here, and then you better get on the ship. So they get on the ship, and
that U-wing is.
It's really nice. And it was kind of cool to see his right hand man be the
Oh,
pilot.
Two Tubes!
Yeah.
I love Two Tubes. Two Tubes was like the best part of Rogue One, and to see him actually piloting a U-wing was amazing.
It was pretty cool, and so they're going, and and then of course Hera gets all defensive, like, Saw, you need to return them right now, like, I'm not kidding, blah blah blah, and then he's like, well, we'll leave it up to them, and like, of course.
Ezra
Two kids,
just like,
Ezra and Sabine being the kids that they are still.
Why not?
Why not? So they get themselves into. So Saw thinks that he knows something about the Empire hiding something, which we, as fans, we know they're hiding.
It's the Death Star.
But they don't know that. Because you have to keep in mind this is like 5-6 years before Rogue One.
No, it's not.
You don't think so?
No, it's a few months before Rogue One.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yep.
Well, I meant the series is.
Well, the series is, but this season is closer to Rogue One than it is anything else.
That's what I meant. But yeah, so he thinks he kind of knows, like, they're doing something here, and he expected to see, like, well, I kind of expect to see some remnants of maybe them building the Death Star. I think that would have been kind of cool. But what you see is basically it's just a local shipyard where supply ships can come through.
Yep.
And so he's like, that's the ship, blah blah, and so they board the ship, and they're kind of skeptical at first, and then Ezra starts to hear this singing noise,
kind of like what's the Wookiee's name from Clone Wars?
Oh, I remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Ganji.
Yeah, Ganji. The
Wookiee
Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah. He starts hearing the thing.
And basically, I mean, so basically they go through, they're sneaking past people, they're trying to get back. We did see the Black
Death Troopers.
The Death Troopers, which I did not like how they could talk. I did not like that.
You didn't like the muffled sound that they didn't have in Rogue One? I thought them actually being able to say stuff was better. They still look badass.
Oh yeah.
They were cool.
Yeah.
I liked that they were able to give orders instead of, like, in Rogue One, you weren't able to understand what they were saying. You didn't know whether they were robots or if they were actual people underneath there. And to see that there's actual people in those suits and that they're trained to be, like, special ops and to protect stuff. Oh, and I like the mention of Krennic.
Yeah,
I love the mention of Krennic because they do find this Kyber crystal. It's a big Kyber crystal, which is obviously going to be used for the Death Star.
Yeah.
So, all these things that are connecting to Rogue One is just so nice, and now you get to see more of Saw Gerrera from Rogue One. His thinking. Right. He ends up stunning both Sabine and Ezra. Yeah. Which is like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, so they have this giant Kyber crystal. It's gotta be at least, like, it's huge. It's gotta be at least 10 feet long.
Yeah.
At least. Mm-hmm. Maybe more. And basically what starts happening is, Saw, like, so they have this thing, and they're trying to figure it, like, once the two kids come out of the stun, of course, like, oh, you
you shot me.
Yeah, like, and he's like, oh, well, I didn't know what you guys were gonna do, blah blah. And he makes some BS thing like Saw always does, and he's like, and he starts shooting the Kyber crystal,
and then he cuts the reactor with the lightsaber. I know you were trained by Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan, but I mean, you know how to turn the lightsaber on, bro. That's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, it kind of took me off guard. I was like, he's using a lightsaber? Okay.
I mean, it makes
But
sense.
I guess Finn did use one in The Force Awakens, so I shouldn't be too surprised. But
you just look for a button.
Yeah, that's true.
And you hold it.
That's true. It's not that
you would figure out. Oh, I have to hold in the button.
Yeah. So I mean, he does that, and it's pretty much like it shows Ezra that I think Ezra at this point is more towards Mon Mothma than he is Saw Gerrera. He's got both sides. He can see both sides of the coin. But I personally believe that he knows in his hearts of hearts that there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it, and that wrong way is what Saw is doing. He's lost everything. Like, there is no coming back for anything. Whereas from Ezra he still has Lothal. He still has the people of Lothal, and he still has his family with the rebels.
Yeah.
And he's still got more. Whereas from Saw's point of view, he's lost everything already.
Right, which is how I could see and maybe Saw's character might be foreshadowing what happens to Ezra. Maybe Ezra is the only person alive, and maybe that's what happens with him turning to the dark side because he has no one else to turn to.
Yeah.
But anyways, they they basically make a makeshift bomb out of this thing, out of this kyber crystal. They get away.
It's kind of cool how it blows up.
And it just blows up because kyber crystal is literally just.
They absorb energy.
It's just energy, basically. It's a rock with energy, and it literally just exploded, caused a massive explosion, destroyed a superstar, or not superstar, just a superstar destroyer, and just destroyed everything. It was kind of cool to see, and actually turned off the power in the Imperial shuttle that the team stole to get out of the ship.
Yeah. I thought that Death Trooper. I still think the Death Troopers are just going to be a great part of the Star Wars series because we didn't really have any like special ops until like the Clone Wars, but now these Death Troopers really, really are.
Yeah,
they do put a fear in those rebels because, oh my God, these guys can actually shoot and hit things.
Yeah.
That's my first thought.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that was that was pretty cool and. Interesting 2-part episode to see that. Kind of get the little teaser to Rogue One. The rebels are starting to kind of figure out what's going on. They know
that they're making something, but they don't know what it is,
and they just can't figure it out yet. So I think I think we'll show the beginning of next episode potentially, or at some point next episode. They're gonna have Ezra and Sabine are gonna talk to him and be like, "Hey, they had a kyber crystal."
They mentioned it at the end of this episode, and the next 2 episodes are going to be based on Lothal.
Right.
One is going to be looking at the TIE Defender that Admiral Thrawn is basing it on.
I wonder if we maybe even see Vader in that, because last time we went to Lothal we saw Vader.
No.
Kind of interesting.
You won't. Vader won't be until maybe second half of the season,
probably,
I believe.
Yeah. Or probably the mid-season.
But it looks as if we are going back to Lothal to kind of do reconnaissance on what the Empire is doing there, trying to figure out how to have an attack point.
They'll screw up that reconnaissance.
Yeah, and so far so good. I mean, the first 2 episodes kind of stunk.
Yeah, but
I think this one really picked it up.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's gonna be a good season. What I'm really curious to see is what they're gonna do after this series. I think that will be kind of interesting to see.
There's a lot of possibilities.
But yeah, for now, it looks really good. I'm definitely liking the feel more than season 3. Season 3 really didn't have an identity. Season 1 was kind of like getting to know the characters.
Season 2 was really the hit home.
Yeah. And then season 3 didn't really have an identity. Like they would do one thing, they'd do another.
I think Thrawn has a lot of potential, and I think in this season you're really going to see Thrawn at his best.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is for sure. Yeah, I like that too.
So, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for this recap of Gosh, I gotta get better at remembering the names. In the Name of the Rebellion, Part 1 and Part 2. George, where can the good people find you?
You guys can find me on Facebook. Just my name, George Poulos. GeorgePoulos. Can't even spell my name right.
Name. You can follow me on Twitter at LordVader2123. We do have a Facebook page, Sith Council Videos. Go find that. You can post anything Star Wars related. We're gonna post our videos, our polls, and stuff like that. You can also follow the official Sith Council Videos Twitter account for updates and stuff. Everything Star Wars coming out with The Last Jedi, Rebels, comics, books, new novels, anything Star Wars related, and yeah,
Yeah, guys.
pretty good. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Always.